Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present Girls vs. Ghost Media's Spooky Talk with Madison Smith from Madison Paranormal. You can find Spooky Talk every other Sunday, 6 Eastern, 5 Central, right here live on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Be sure to join in the live interactive chat by going to Spreaker.com or downloading the Spreaker app for all devices.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi everyone, I'm Madison Smith. I'd like to welcome you all to Spooky Talk with Maddie. Tonight's show, I have a pleasure to talk to a couple guys who've just made a new season out on Paraflex called My Paranormal Experience. Can we give a warm, spooky welcome to Nathan Withers and Scott Dabbs?
How's it going?
Hello.
Hey. So how are you?
Doing pretty good after an intense investigation last night.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that you two are really tired, so I won't ask any really complex stuff. I'll try to keep it real easy. I got you.
Sweet.
Trust me, I know how it feels.
The next morning can be a doozy.
Agreed. You wake up and I literally woke up once. I was like, what timeline and where am I?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've been there.
Many times. I don't know. I just feel like, our investigation last night really, I could see it was draining all of us simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So before we start off on everything, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Okay. Go ahead, Scottie. I'll let you start first.
Yeah, well, as you've heard, my name is Scottie. I do investigating and a lot of the gear with my paranormal experience. I've been doing it for probably going on 2 years now, physically going out there and doing investigations, but I've been a fan of the paranormal for probably 15, 16 years. I literally had to beg Nathan to start something with me. So, but that's a little bit about me and my paranormal background is I'm still kind of new to it all. I'm learning a whole bunch still, but I love it. It's a definite passion that I have.
Me, well, I am a self-taught filmmaker for 20 to 25 years. Mm-hmm. I've been in the paranormal field since I was about 17 years old. Matter of fact, Scottie and I have had our first experiences together as kids, and that's what kind of set our paths into the paranormal field. Mm-hmm. I've had experiences prior to us having our experiences together, but it wasn't nothing that I really considered like a groundbreaking experience. It's just weird. Mm-hmm. But I was with a couple of other teams prior to my paranormal experience. The filmmaking aspect of what I do now didn't happen until probably, I don't know, been a while, but I think like the serious part of filmmaking came in when I was with a team called Buried Secrets Paranormal. I was with them for 12 years, and I really wanted to just I wanted to make films. I wanted to make documentaries and episodes. That was my biggest thing. And, I got a lot of practice, whenever we got signed with VidiSpace back when that was a thing. Mm-hmm. Nick Groff and Elizabeth Saint, was a huge part of that with me. And back when they signed me, that was like my learning curve. Have a lot of respect for both Elizabeth and Nick. When they brought me on, it taught me a lot about the do's and don'ts with the film industry and making episodes. And, I've learned a lot of the cinematography. I've learned a lot of audio. I learned a lot of things along the way. But, it came to a point where, I love storytelling. I love being able to showcase someone's story. And, I wanted to show that these types of experiences don't just happen to celebrities or the popular names in the field. It happens to everyday people. And so I had this vision while I was on the team with Buried Secrets that I wanted to make a storytelling show, and I wanted it to be very, very different than most. And I know not all shows are original. We're all kind of similar in our own way, but we might have that one thing that separates us from the rest. But, the teams were going in separate directions. They had different goals that they wanted to achieve, and I respected that. And so it was just time for me to basically turn the chapter of my career and close that one and start this one, because where our show was going at the time, it was just me at first that was doing the whole series. And then that's when Scottie goes, I got to be a part of the show. I want to do something. You have to let me in. I want to do something with you. So, I let Scottie in as a camera guy for a little while, and he for about a year, he really learned the basics of film. He learned the basics of lighting and, just walking around with the camera and filming. And he really got hands-on, and I was really, really impressed with that. And it really, it helped out a lot. And I could see in him that he had the same desire and passion and goals as I did, and that I still do for what we're doing. And then that's when Beth got on board, and Beth and I are kind of like OGs when it comes to being on the same team. We were on the same team for 12 years, and she's a co-host now of the series, and she's a researcher and investigator. Scottie is now our tech guy. He's not so much behind the camera as much as he used to be. He's more so, with the gear. But no, when it comes to like the team as a whole, it started off as just me, and then now we have 4 people. And Kara's our newest addition to the team, and she is our team's lead researcher, and she is our lead camera operator. But as the team kind of grew, I think we filmed, 40 or 50 interviews in over, in about a year's time. Mm-hmm. But, not all those interviews were going to make a full episode, because a lot of them were personal experiences and they didn't have that, the evidence to back it up. And that's not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just, you didn't have any proof other than what they said. But, we were able to use part of it in the season premiere of our series. And, where our show is going now, we're leaning towards stories that people have experienced, but also have access to the location that we can investigate as their story unfolds. So that's kind of where, how I started and what, where the show came from. But like where the title came from, if you want to get technical, the title My Paranormal Experience happened when I was just in my room one day, like filming my own story, because I wanted to see like what the feedback would be. Like, okay, if I was to make this a series, would this be worth anything? Would people want to watch this? And so I made I call it like a sample episode, 10-minute video, and there was no B-roll. It was literally like theater of the mind. It was sound effects. As my story was unfolding, all you would hear is background sound effects to kind of give you that creative visual. And it was a very personal story, very personal experience. And whenever I posted that video on Facebook, a lot of people that aren't even believers in the paranormal were really, I guess, touched by the story, touched by what I was putting out there. And it was that point I went back on my video, and I don't even remember saying this, but I sat down and I said, my name is Nathan, and this is my paranormal experience. And that's where the name stuck. So when people come on the show and they tell their experience, it's anyone's experience. So that's why it's called My Paranormal Experience. But that's kind of where the show came from. And it's grown into something that I never thought it would. But I am truly honored and blessed to have the people that are a part of us. Because without them, without our viewers, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah. That was very well said. Good job.
I'm just rolling with it, man.
Yeah. And then, what was your first ever experience in the paranormal?
First ever experience. I mean, that's a story for, I think, Scottie to share, because his was more defining than mine.
All right, so it's like Nathan said, we shared this experience together. Nathan used to live in a small town called La Force, Texas. And I met Nathan and a couple of other guys through our local skate park. We were all trying to do the whole skateboarding thing. And anyway, we ended up spending a lot of time in La Force at one of our other buddies' house. His dad was a truck driver, and his mom, can't remember exactly what it was that his mom did, but they weren't really home, and they eventually moved to a neighboring town and kind of gave our buddy this house that they owned in La Force. So we spent a lot of time over there. And, at one point we really got into that show on A&E called Ghost Hunters with Jason and Grant and Steve, Dave, all those guys, like the ones that really took paranormal TV to the next level. We were all just kind of hanging out one night, and the one that didn't live there, our other buddy that didn't live there, was like, hey, y'all know that I have a haunted house, right? Like, I live in a haunted house. And at first, people were like, nah, man, no, you don't. Because he was known as kind of a jokester. He was the one that liked to mess with us a lot. But he swore up and down that his house was haunted. So we eventually decided that the four of us and our buddy's girlfriend, we were all going to go over to his house and see what the whole deal was. And, we get over there, and his little brother and his dad, they were in a neighboring town. His dad worked there, and his little brother was staying with his mom. So we know for a fact there was nobody else in the house. We get there, and I mean, you could kind of already tell that it was a little, the vibe was different when you walked in. So, hi, Kimmy. In a podcast. My child's here. But anyway, you're choking me. We walk into this house, and it's a whole different vibe. And we go into one of the bedrooms. All five of us go in there. And we go in there, and we all lay down on the bed. We turn the lights out, and we're just kind of hanging out, We don't really know how to approach it. It's our first time to ever do anything like this. A lot of us weren't even believers.
I want to lay down.
Hold on, Kimmy, stop. I'm telling a story. But
where are you going?
We're laying there, and one of us starts asking questions, and we start getting like some knocks on what felt like the box spring of the mattress that we were laying on.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all kind of like, could it be the guy who lives here? Is he reaching his hand over and tapping on the bed frame, making us think these things? Or is this real? So as we're sitting there, as the night's going on, we start asking more and more questions. We start kind of getting into a little bit more of the history of LaFours being built on Native American burial lands and stuff like that. And I remember at one point, one of us asked how many spirits are in this room. And we got a knock after a few seconds. And then a few more seconds went by and we got another knock. And those knocks would just increase in speed until it sounded like the best way to describe it was it was a machine gun going off. And then the same guy who asked the question was like, all right, you guys need to stop. And it went dead silent. Absolutely nothing else came in through the room. And as we're sitting there in the silence, at this point, our fear levels have increased. We're kind of like, okay, that was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? And we're sitting there, and then out of nowhere, we hear Nathan go, Kenny.
No, I wanted to stay on you.
Hold on, y'all. Give me just a second.
That was classic. That's awesome. Dude, my dude's like my brother, man. So it's never a dull moment with him, I'm telling you.
Well, this is fun. So
Good story.
Of course.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all.
It's okay.
She's hell-bent on messing with me right now. So, I was at the point where Nathan goes, something just hit me in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's scared at this point. You're sitting in the dark, you're in a haunted location, and something hits you in the leg. You're scared. So we all kind of freak out a little bit. We get up and we flip on the light switch. And when you first walk into this bedroom, it was a fairly basic setup. You had a mattress, a small dresser that had a TV on top of it, and then on the other side of the mattress, there was this dresser that had a cowboy hat sitting on top of it. Well, when we flipped that light switch on, that cowboy hat had gone to the other side of the room. And that's what hit Nathan in the leg. So we were like, whoa, this is too much for us. We're all 15, 16 years old at this point. Like, this is intense. We all got really, really scared. And I remember, we shut the lights back out, and the guy the buddy that lived there, he picked up the cowboy hat and held it in his hand and said that if the spirits were real, to knock that cowboy hat out of his hand. And he claims that that's what happened. But I'm almost certain he just dropped the cowboy hat because, it was pitch black. We wouldn't know if he did or didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And, he wanted to have some attention brought to him or whatever. But, so after all that happened, it got, really scary. And we decided that we were going to leave the house because it was too much for us at that point. So as we were walking out to leave the house, I remember leaving the room before everybody else because, I don't know, I honestly might have been more scared than anybody. And I walk out into the hallway, and I remember as I'm walking down, he had a bunch of family pictures up on his hallway wall. And I remember seeing a dark shadow dart through one of those pictures. So I turn around to see what that was, and I look up the staircase. And on the top of the staircase, there was a black figure. He's about, I don't know, 7, 8 foot tall, and he had red glowing eyes. And it was just staring down at me. And I mean, I saw that and I started to cry. I mean, that was probably the most scared I've ever been in my life. And then everybody else, they all come out of the room. We leave. And before we walk out of the house, I tell the spirit, I was like, look, we're all going to leave. We're going to drive around for 10 minutes. I left that cowboy hat on the floor where you have thrown it. When we come back, I want that cowboy hat to be back on the dresser. I want to see that this was really you and not just one of our buddies messing with us. So we leave. We all pile into my buddy's little S10 pickup. We drive around the forest for about 10 minutes. And then we go back to the house and we all go into that room. And sure enough, that cowboy hat that we left on the floor is now sitting back up on top of that dresser where it was when we first walked into the room. And then for about 3 months after that, I personally felt like I was followed by that entity that I saw up on the top of his staircase. And I couldn't get rid of that until I had my mom get me a rosary, and she had it blessed by our local priest here in Tampa, which is one of the neighboring towns. So that was mine and Nathan's first paranormal experience. It's really cool that we actually got to share that together now with where we're at in the paranormal field.
Agreed.
Was the person who actually lived there okay?
Well, to be honest with you, our friend that lived there, his family was going through a lot of negative type of stuff, like living situations and whatnot. And as the months passed, it really tore their family apart. It ended up in divorce. It ended up in a bunch of stuff, but their family now is actually been reunited. Like, they're actually a family again, and they don't live there anymore. Matter of fact, my wife's best friend lives there now. Yeah. So, and it's, and what's crazy is whenever they, when I found out that they moved there, Scottie and I was actually able to go back to that house and kind of, in our own way, retell that story. And this is before the show even became anything like it is today. It was much one of our growing phases in the show. But no, the family's doing good now. Like, I haven't seen them in a long time, but I know they're not there. But they're in a good place. They're in a good spot in life.
And then after all that went down, did things amplify in the house at all after you left, or was it just back to normal in a way?
I couldn't tell you that personally. That was the last time I was in the house.
Me too.
Other than when we went back, once we started up my paranormal experience. But when we went back that time, like, I could just tell that with a new family moving in and the amount of work and positivity they put on that house, it was completely different.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, after that experience happened and the years between actually going back, yeah, I have no idea about any other families or our buddy's family or anything.
Do you think that the negativity within the family could have made a difference in the entity at all? Or is that just...
I do, personally. I was friends with that family, quite a few years before Scottie came along. And, they were a really cool, normal family. you know. But I do think that if their families and like negative energy wouldn't have been as amplified as it always was, and there was more positivity, it might have changed the whole atmosphere of the house. It might have changed the whole everything of how the activity was. But I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. It really is. But I just think if the family's energy was more positive and more filled with light and love, who knows how it could have turned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, was there any other experiences that you had when you were younger that like stood out in a way?
No, not
For me.
Yeah.
For me, no. I mean, I after that night, that was just one of those things that I shoved deep into the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried really hard to forget about it, even though I never truly did. I started focusing more on, I picked up learning how to play guitar and bass, and I ended up joining a band with some other buddies outside of that group. And I really kind of focused more on trying to write and play music with these guys. And then as time went on, I caught myself watching more and more paranormal shows, and the memories kept flooding back to me until eventually I was like, look, I have to get out there, and I have to find the same type of entity again and let it know, like, that hold you had on me for years, you don't have that hold on me anymore. It's time to show that entity that I'm not the scared little boy that I used to be. I've grown and I'm bigger than you are.
Yeah. So, is there a bucket list of places that you'd like to go, or is it just anywhere kind of thing?
To be honest with you, we've had this conversation a lot since we've been a part of my paranormal experience. Me personally, like going to different locations, like there's only been one location that we have been to that has been on television. That, I mean, we're going back this summer, but it's the Malvern Manor.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to that location once, but I can't say that I wouldn't go to these places if opportunity was given. But I feel like all these TV shows have been showcasing the same places over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like, I would like to discover something that hasn't been on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly, that's probably going to be rare to find that. But I know out there's got to be a place that hasn't made television, that hasn't been investigated. I think that's where I would want to go, like, is find places that haven't been discovered. Mm-hmm. But I do know there's places out there where I know for a fact that if we were given the opportunity, like, hell yeah, let's do this. Like, why not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I completely agree with Nathan. I mean, I'm going to throw Nevada State Prison out there as an example. If they came up to our crew and was like, hey, you guys want to investigate Nevada State Prison? Absolutely, we do. But at the same time, like, we really like to try to find the unknown, kind of small town, not heard of places, because I myself personally, I believe that places that aren't touched by paranormal investigators, you could potentially get incredible activity versus going to a location that's always been visited. Those spirits might be like, oh, it's these people again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored of y'all. I'm not going to do anything.
Right. Yeah, I can agree to that.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, like, honestly, I have the place just for you kind of thing. Like, I love the place to death, and I don't think it's ever been on a TV show at all.
Interest piqued.
Yeah.
But, like, I can go through the history if you want, just describe it to you kind of thing, but,
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's an old YMCA, Dan Viner Furniture. That's what its current name is. But like I said, old YMCA, and then people bought it, scrapped the building for metal, and then U-Haul bought it, and now the current owners have it. But for me, I've had a lot of experiences there. Like, there's this old running track that no one can go on unless you want to fall through, kind of thing, because the boards are rotted. But I remember, because you can see it from the garage or the bottom level of the basement and just look up and see it. In one corner, I looked up and I just saw someone like leaning over, and then everyone saw it because it was like a group investigation. And then someone talked to it, and then it talked back, and we just sat there for like 5 minutes just talking back and forth. Like, you could hear it with your ears, and then all of a sudden it just went silent. Like, it was weird.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's also the pool area, which a lot of stuff also happens. Like, for me, I go there a lot. Like, I'm actually going to be heading there 3 days this week for fun.
Yeah.
Because me and the owner are, like, best friends, you know? But in the basement, there's this old pool area that used to be a pool, but then they filled it in. And supposedly a little boy drowned in there. And a lot of people there, like, they walk in, and then just middle of the night, they'll hear voices kind of thing, and then they'll go look to see who's speaking, and then it stops. Like, you'll hear a lot of stuff down there.
So it's a very audible location.
Yeah. Like, I remember one day, like, it was me and this other person, and we were just sitting there just talking, and then we started hearing chanting in the hallway, and we thought someone was out there, so we went and peeked, and no one was there, and we freaked out.
Me and Nathan actually had something similar happen to us for an interview that we had.
Mm-hmm.
We were interviewing this one lady, and we had just got a random local location that, supposedly there's no activity there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just this old ranch house on the outskirts of the town we were in. Mm-hmm. And after our interview, we were Nathan had got it was a new piece of equipment, or was it it was new audio. That's what it was.
Yeah, okay. I'm following now. Well,
he got some new audio, and we stayed behind after the interview to kind of just test it out, see how it was going. And I was filming Nathan up on the staircase. And as he was talking, we heard a female go, "Hey," and you were like,
"It was weird, man."
What? Like the lady we were interviewing, she should have been gone by now. Mm-hmm. So we stop immediately. We rush outside, and I mean, it was practically a blizzard outside. And we walk around the whole house, not a single person was there.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Is that because the audio we had, we've gone through so much audio, it's ridiculous. Because we were still in our learning phase of the show, trying to figure out what's going to work, what's crap, whatever. Mm-hmm. And Scottie I was sitting on like one of the lower staircase, like parts of the stairs, and I was doing an update for the show, and literally in like mid sentence, you hear like a very like high pitch but like low tone, like "Hey," and it was coming from the top of the stairs. Like, that's where I heard it from. And I looked up and I said, "You hear that?" He says, "Yeah." Like, it was, in this house, you walk into it and you don't get a creepy feeling. It's just a nice ranch house, whatever. But it was in the dead of winter. Like, there was probably like 8 to 10 inches of snow outside, blizzardous weather. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's no way there's people out here right now, because like no one's getting out in this weather. So we literally got up, walked on the porch, walked around the house, like not on the grounds, but just on the porch of the house, mm-hmm. and was seeing like, okay, is there cars here? There was nothing there. And I mean, was it a paranormal experience? Who's to say it wasn't? We don't know if there was a person there or not. Bottom line is, we couldn't find that person. And we sure as hell couldn't find them in the house. And from what I heard, it was coming from the top of the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was very weird, very unexplainable.
Yeah, that sounds like really weird, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that like one of the little gems that you found in the rough kind of thing, like where no one's been there really, and then you just decided to try it out, or?
Well, that spot we went to, we were using it mainly as a spot to interview someone for a background. Because it had like an ambient type of a background to it. It was a pretty, like in a weird way, it was like a luxurious look, but when you fix the lighting correctly, it gave it like a dark ambient type of a style. And so it was a lot of room. You could have all your lighting, all the production set up, and still have room to sit down and do whatever you need to do. So we were looking for a spot to just have a good interview. And the lady that owned it, or owns it, she allowed us to go out there and film and investigate whatever, but we were there mainly to interview. But that's what happened after the interview was over.
Yeah. And then did you ever go back to investigate the place?
We tried to. Yeah, we went back once. We went back once more, but it was really to just test equipment. Because we got some more equipment in, and we wanted to just kind of go and see how it works, that kind of stuff. So that's about it.
Well, that is very cool, in my opinion. That you went back and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, has there ever been a place that you have doubted going to, kind of thing? Not scared, but just doubted in a way.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
honestly,
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then, what's one of the craziest experiences or stories that you've heard?
Man, there's been quite a bit of them. Honestly, for me, we have two. At least I have two. I think the first one has to be Vanessa's story, and that was with the Gateway Between Worlds documentary. Because when that first came up, it's my friend's mom, and basically she wanted to meet me and talk to me about the paranormal stuff. She didn't know any of my history other than I was into the paranormal. So I went to her house, and before cameras were even involved, before her story becoming a part of the series or whatever was involved, she told me that there was a gate that she had went to back in 1997, and she was asked by a church to do a spiritual mapping of the town. And so she did, but she was asking God for a sign of a gateway. And she was driving around town, and this gate just caught her eye. She stopped at it, and she said it terrified her. Something about this gate ultimately scared the hell out of her. And so when she told me the whole story, she had told me, she's like, well, matter of fact, you've been there before. And I'm like, no, I haven't. I have no idea what you're even talking about. She says, no, you've had your picture taken before. I know you have. And so when I went and showed my wife or told my wife about it, my wife just turned pale white. She goes, yeah, we actually have taken your picture at a gate. And then she showed me the picture, and I'm actually at the gate that she's talking about. Well, she ends up telling me, she says, well, just to let you know, I know you're going to go to the gate and investigate it because I've told you my story. I've told you what I've experienced there. But just know that when you get to this gate, these certain experiences are going to happen. You're going to experience these certain things. And so when I walked through that gate, that's when, to me, one of the most groundbreaking stories that I have personally ever been able to share took place. I'm not going to give away all the details with that. I'll let the people watch the film. But that's where the gatekeeper comes in. I kind of told you about that off air earlier. But I think the next one is one that Scottie and I have both kind of encountered too, and it's a location that has never been on TV. It's one of those that, hey, you know what? Like, we got invited by, the marshal to go do this case, and the marshal is not a big believer in the paranormal, but he came up to me roughly 2 years ago, kind of like very concerned that, hey, I saw something or I heard this noise and I don't know what it is. I want you to come investigate it. And it's the Skellytown School. It's a little bitty town, right? Probably 20 minutes away from where I live at. And, there was 2 people that had stories there, and it's probably one of our most shocking investigations we've ever done. And one that resulted in Scottie. It was Scottie's first like real investigation in the dark, filming in the dark, and he captured a full black mass manifest out of like these bleachers and stuff. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And then, sorry. Have you ever
fine.
done like any other schools?
We have, but nothing to this caliber of paranormal occurrences. No. We're currently investigating another school. I'm not going to go into detail with that one yet, but we are currently investigating another elementary school that we're planning to go back to, and it has we actually filmed for it when I was with another series at one point in time. But we're making our trip back there shortly to kind of make our own episode out of it. But yeah, we've been to another school.
Yeah. All right. And then, so I love hospitals and asylums. Your opinion, which one has been like the most fun for you?
We have not done a hospital or asylum.
Man.
Yep.
We've had a chance to do one locally for one night, and it was pretty dead.
Yeah.
That night, to be honest. So yeah, we really haven't ever gotten the chance to actually experience like hospitals or asylums, but that is definitely a location I want to get into.
That might be one of those type of investigations where it has been on television multiple times, and we would be like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go experience it at least once and film it, make our own episode or documentary, whatever, and just make it our own. So yeah, like that I would love to do.
Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of Edinburgh Manor at all?
I have heard of the location, yeah.
I feel like you guys would enjoy that.
That's in Iowa, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, for me, I like the feel of this one room in the basement. I don't know why I like that room, and then there's this other room upstairs that's like a child's room, and I just feel like really connected to that room in a way.
How far is that from Malvern?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Gotcha.
Sorry, man.
You're good. I understand.
It's all good.
Let's see. I want to say that it's about 1.5 to 2 hours away from me, and then going down to Malvern is about 3 hours, I think.
Gotcha.
For me.
Okay.
So I don't think it's terribly far.
Right.
But I could be wrong.
I don't know. I mean, if we had an opportunity to get into it, I know me personally, I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I would.
But I'm not. I'll go to any location if we have permission and the opportunity to be there. I'm going to try to be there, regardless of what the location is.
Exactly. I'm with Scottie there.
So if it's doable, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which I know the owner, he's very open, like, Yeah. Like, he doesn't just, like, what's the word? Sorry, I'm, like, looking for the sentence here. Like, he'll let almost anyone in as long as he knows that you're not going to ruin the place kind of thing. Which I know you guys would not ruin the place, so.
Oh yeah, no. We go into each investigation, each location, story, whatever we're doing, with the utmost respect for the story, for the person that owns it, and whoever's participating.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, which I really respect that. Like, for me, I just hate to see places get like vandalized or something.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Like, I just hate it.
Oh,
But
yeah. Yeah, we're not big fans of it either.
yeah.
So, but that's a really, I mean, outside of like, because we live in the Texas Panhandle. No, I don't know if you are like too familiar with how the Texas Panhandle is, but it's really rural. Every town in the Texas Panhandle is at least an hour plus apart from each other, and they're all really small. So around here, it's almost kind of hard to find locations.
Yeah.
And if we do hear of one, generally the person who owns it is really closed off to the paranormal. And they're like, what? You got paranormal? No, my building ain't haunted. Get out of here. So we love to hear that, there's people out there who are super open to the paranormal and paranormal investigators coming through to be able to investigate their buildings and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like I know a lot of people like near where I live, they're really open with everything. They're like, "Oh yeah, come on down. You're fine."
I wish it was like that here. It's not
Me
though.
too.
No, literally, like you'll just text them and be like, "Hey, can I get like a reservation for an investigation?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, do you want snacks too?"
Yes,
Like,
I do.
They treat you so well.
Yeah,
Like, I
awesome.
swear, some of them are just too nice.
Like, I think it'd be like, okay, this is the joke, isn't it? Like, this is a setup. Like,
you're trapping me.
Yeah, you're putting like a gummy bear at each step to like trap me inside the location. Like, okay, so yeah, I'd be down though, for sure.
Like, if you ever come down like near my area, I can give you like a full list. I got you.
Where exactly do you live? That way we can figure that part out.
Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Pretty fun.
Davenport, Iowa. All right.
Actually, I think I might have had a buddy move to Davenport, Iowa at one point.
Ooh.
Maybe. I know it was somewhere in Iowa, but Davenport sounds really familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's also some like really cool campsites that are haunted. Like, let's see. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but there's Spook Caves. That's a really nice one if you like camping. And then there's this other one that I can't remember the name. But yeah. Like, we have variety other than the cornfields.
I do know that Scottie and I are going back to Malvern in July.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we're going back to film Malvern Manor because like when we went through the first time, we didn't get a whole lot of time,
and
it was cold as hell. Like, and I mean, probably 18 inches of snow on the ground. He bitched the whole time.
Yeah, we decided to go in late January.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, the perfect time to go up north is late January.
Of course.
It was the only time we had available at that time.
And I'm Texas born and raised, I'm not used to that 12-degree high for 3 weeks straight type weather. I don't know how y'all do it. Y'all got my kudos for that.
The entire time in the car, he's like, "I'm bitching. Why? It's cold. I'm bitching." I'm like, "Hey, Scottie, nope, I'm bitching. I want to film. I'm cold."
I was pretty upset.
We would get down to the Shadow Man hallway, and he'd go, "Yeah, screw this. I'm cold. I want to go back to base camp. It's warm over there." So that's pretty much how it went down.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I get it, it's cold.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, it's Iowa, so the seasons change every 2 minutes. So,
Texas Panhandle, literally.
no, literally one day, it was sunny and nice. Next thing you know, it starts raining, and then it starts hailing, and then it starts snowing.
That's
All in
Yeah.
one
right
day.
here.
Yeah. I'm a big weather enthusiast, and I was actually kind of watching that storm roll through Iowa, and it did. It rolled through. Some places had tornadoes, and then in a matter of 2 hours, it was 5 to 6 inches of snow.
No, literally.
So I was like, Iowa might have Texas beat.
Like,
Mother
I
Nature,
was
we're just like the
watching-
guinea pig. We're just like the guinea pig for Mother Nature. Like, wonder how the snow's looking.
I'm sitting in the
I give
front
it to
seat.
Iowa.
I'm sitting in the front seat, and I see Scottie on his phone going, nope. I go, what? He goes, dude, we're fixing to get, like blasted with this snowstorm. So, yeah. And not to mention, like, hey, if you want to think of this guy, I took one for the team because I'm the one that pushed the car with you out of the snow, and I got my socks soaking wet.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah, that video of you falling is pretty funny.
I was so pissed when that happened. Like, okay, so Beth, she's like my sister, and my wife was in the driver's seat trying to get out of this horrible situation we were in, and I didn't know Beth is filming us push the car from the back seat, and she catches me on the bumper push, and I slipped and fell.
Oh my god.
And
he disappears. You see Nathan 1 second, the next second Nathan's gone.
And
then he pops up,
this
and you
is
can
me.
just visibly
This
see
is
how
me.
mad he was.
This is my hand's me, and then this. That's what happened. All you see is go, and then you see my face get real just mad and red, and my wife's like, "Love you." I was like, "I don't care." So it was not. Yeah, it was a fun weekend, but dude, oh my god, it was cold, and at that point, I was just ready to take my shoes off and get new socks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For me, like my socks get wet. I don't care if it's in the water or snow. I don't care. Like I am instantly mad. But yeah,
literally, I'm used to any weather by now. I just hate the cold.
yeah. I can't. I'm a fall person. Like I'm a big time fall person. Summertime, I don't know how I don't lose weight because I sweat profusely 24/7. Like there's times that like we'll be filming and Beth and Scottie are like, bro, are you okay? Like you're awfully sweaty. I'm like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, thanks to my parents, I get a double whammy or a triple whammy of what they go through every day. So like I can't help it.
I'll look over at him sometimes and be like, bro, you need to drink some water.
And the thing is, when I do, like I drink a lot of water in the summertime, and it just goes right through me. Doesn't even phase.
Yeah.
So.
No, like I'm the type of person in the middle of summer, I will still have a heater blanket going on my bed.
Oh my god, I would die.
I'm that type of person.
Oh, I would die.
Nah, summer's the best time of year. Heat over cold any day.
Oh, I agree with heat over cold, but I am 100% a fall person. I will take 55 to 60 degree weather any day of the week. Anything's too cold for you. Anything under 70 or 80 is too cold for you. Like, come on now.
Almost, yeah.
God.
Oh my.
Welcome to my paranormal experience, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, but like, I agree with you, and I'm sorry I was like this. I'm sorry that it's cold. And it's snowy.
It is what it is.
Knowing
you
us,
can't really fight Mother Nature, so I'll just have to deal.
knowing us, we're gonna get there in July because we're going for 4 days this time. Knowing us, we'll get there and it'll be sunny. The first day it'll be so awesome. This guy's gonna be like, "Yeah, man, we're here in summer." Next day, bam, it's like 20 degrees.
Yep.
I'd leave.
I'd leave.
Oh my
I'd
god.
be like, dude, you're on your own. I'm going home.
I'm like, no. That's funny.
No, just wait till you get like in my area to where cornfields are everywhere and you're trying to find the road that you turn at and you can't tell the difference because it all looks the same. You do not know how many times I've gotten lost.
See, I would get instantly nervous because, like, when I see cornfields, I think of Children of the Corn.
No, literally. That's why I reference every single time.
So, I'd be telling Scottie, I'm sorry, but I have never lived Children of the Corn movie, and I'm not going to. We hunt spirits. We don't hunt demonic cult people, okay? Like, we're not, like, this is real shit, okay? I've said it multiple times. People terrify me more than spirits do.
Yeah.
No, literally. No. So, like, funny story. So, my school, it's middle of nowhere. I literally have to drive 10 miles to get there. And it's surrounded by farm and corn. And one day, I mentioned the movie Children of the Corn. And then we were walking, and suddenly the wind starts blowing. And then I was just like, "Excuse me?" And then all my friends just started looking, and we all just went inside. We were done.
Yeah, I mean,
timing's just right on that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you either for just being like, nope, I'm out of here.
No, like we stood there for like 10 seconds just staring. And like once we went inside, it stopped. Like it was the weirdest thing. Like,
yeah,
it was not okay.
That's creepy. It's definitely creepy.
All right. Well, thank you for being on my show. The time is practically almost done, so thank you.
Thank you for having us on. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
it was
I had
fun. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun talking with you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. And then before I do anything, would you like to tell people where they can find you and your shows at or anything?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those platforms. Mm-hmm. And our new series, My Paranormal Experience, is on Paraflix, Paranormal Plus. You can get it on the App Store, Google Play, Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, all those platforms. The Gatekeeper bonus feature will be releasing very soon to Paraflix. I'm very excited about it. It's one of our most intense investigations we've had as a team in a long time. But other than that, we appreciate everyone that's tuned in to watch our series and all the episodes we've put out. And we thank y'all for having us.
Yeah. Yes, Persephone, I hear you. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. Sorry, my cat just broke in.
Don't say the word cat around this guy.
Oh,
I love cats. Cat, they're my favorite.
I'll show you after the show. But for all my listeners out there, I would like to say thank you for being with me tonight. My next show will be April 3rd with Riley Black with Black Cross Paranormal. Make sure if you're not following me, give me a follow at Madison Paranormal Investigation on Facebook and Maddie_Paranormal_Investigation on Instagram. So for tonight, peace, love, and happiness. And most of all, be spoopy, everyone.